Hey Liz. So I promised I'd start doing some videos for you on Japanese here. Admittedly, it's been like a week since I mentioned that, but well, I wanted to make sure everything was set up so it would be a pretty smooth experience. I figured we'd start with just the basics. I know you've already gone through the hiragana and katakana before, so this will be kind of basic stuff, really kind of boring, but yeah. Well, it's important to have it down. And so what we'll probably do is I'm just going to go through all the hiragana today and just make a couple of words with them. Um, so yeah, let's go ahead and get started. First off, let's start with let's start with the vowels here, just the solo vowels. It'll be a, I, u, e, o, right? So a, and you just go across and down, and then you're going to do a kind of a fish shape. And you got ah. Keep in mind I'm not a native user, so mine's a little sloppy, like this line should be a little closer to here, but if you write that, people will be fine with that, they'll be happy with that. E, similar. One thing to keep in mind is that this side in particular, you know, a little bit of a hook, and on the other side, you can, but it's not really needed. You notice it's actually kind of long on this side, and also at a weird angle. So I'm going to go ahead and just redo it real quick. I have a problem with keeping all my characters the same size. So that's probably closer to how it should look, minus the redraw there. So a, I, u. I'm just going to make like an ear with line above it. A. So this goes over, down into an angle, and kind of comes back up. And again, another line above it. And then O. Now O looks a lot like A. It starts the same, right? But instead of stopping here, you're going to actually keep going. Circle around, and then do a dot right there. So you'll have A, I, U, E, O. A, I, U, E, O. There we go. Let's go ahead and move on to the K series here. I'm going to go ka, ki, ku, ke, go. I'm sure you've heard the pattern already. Ka. Mine's a little angular. A lot of times people, they kind of round this edge here. Ka. Ki. Now this will be a little different depending upon where you see it. A lot of fonts. So the way I'm writing it is usually how you see it written. A lot of times you'll see fonts and stuff that actually do it like this, which is okay, but you're not usually going to write this way. You're usually going to write it more like this. And notice that you're going to want like a tail coming off. Mine's a little short here, but you want to have that tail coming up. So it's almost like you're writing this, but partway through you're like, I give up, and just let it go blank for a bit. And then come back around. So that's ka, ki. We're going to do ku. Whoop. Just looks like a kind of like a mouth there. Yeah. And then K. Again, this starts kind of like E. And there's just a little bit of a hook there. Go across. And it angles in towards there. So that's K. You can see mine are getting smaller. A little bigger. And then Ko. I actually rather like Ko because it's pretty easy. It's basically duh, duh. Again, you want a little bit of a hook and down. I am lazy. I'm very lazy. A lot of times I'll forget the hook. So there's that. So yeah, there's the ko. Again, ka, ki, ku, ke, and ko. And there we go. So pretty useful stuff so far. So like with what we have right now, actually there's a few things we could probably do, like aimasu. Oh no, we can't do aimasu. Au is actually the verb form, but we can't. Well, we'll find that out later. But so au is do 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 do, do. And it's really sloppy, but you get the look. Au is something's exists, if something exists, and specifically for, oh gosh, there's au and il. I'm forgetting which one's which. One of them is an animal or a person that exists, something that moves, and the other thing is like a non-moving object that exists. Shoot. Aimas. Imas. I want to say au is. Well, I'm gonna have to move on from that. That's a little embarrassing, but I don't want to get stuck there here. But yeah, so we've got that. The sa, similar to ki here, except you just have the one line going through here. And again, if you wanted to, you could try to do it like that, but that's usually just in fonts and stuff. You don't actually write that out that way usually. Sa, shi, looks like basically just a big hook. Su, we go across the line across, come down, and we curl around. Se, this one's kind of like, it's kind of, I usually get a slight up angle on that, but it doesn't really matter if it's flat. And then line down, and over. Se, and so. Now, I always do this one a little funky. I'm going to try to do it the right way, which is across, down, over, and kind of a weird angle there. This is one of my least favorite hiragana to do, because I never do it right. Mine usually ends up looking well, not totally different. Like, you can tell what it is, but it's just different. You will notice here that shi is pronounced different. It's sa, shi, su, se, so. So you don't actually pronounce it like you would the others. And that's just how it's done. Oh, by the way, not that this would be helpful for you, because you don't eat fish, but you'll know now how to write su-shi. Sushi. So you got that going for you. Oh, you can also say how to like something. Su-ki. Which is interesting, because this is basically like. Su-ki. It could also mean to love, actually. Anata wa suki desu. Or anata wa daisuki desu is another way to do it. Daisuki is just like ski, but more powerful. But usually, from what I understand, usually you just use ski. So it would be anata wa suki desu would be I like you, or I potentially I love you. Can also just mean I like you in platonic sense, which makes it kind of a confusing phrase to use, but it usually has the romantic connotations. And you'll notice that when I say it, I say ski. You can kind of hear the oo in there, but you really don't say the oo. There's a lot of words where that's the case. You don't actually say the suki, you say ski. The oo is kind of implied. Okay. Okay, so we're going to ta, chi. Ta. Well, that's a little sloppy, but it's not too bad, actually. It's pretty bad. I'm going to try to do it a little bit better. There we go. Ta. And the thing is, it actually looks kind of like a T. Hey, right? A little bit, kind of. So that was one of the ones that I had the easiest time remembering. Chi. And you'll notice chi looks a lot like sa, but it's just going the other direction. So chi. Tsu. Tsu is right here. Te. And to. And you notice toe actually looks kind of like a toe, right? I can see it's got the toe here and the toenail at a weird angle. To. Ta, chi, tsu, te, to. And of course, tachi. Oh, no, no. Tai Chi. So, for example, if you practice Tai Chi, you could do that here. Tai Chi. Tai Chi. So if you do, you practice that exercise. Tai Chi. Okay. Na. You know, that's a little weird. In fact, I did that really fast, so I'm going to do it slower here. You're going to go over, down, little notch here, and then you're going to make a little bow sort of thing. Na. And mine's a little sloppy, but it's actually not too bad. Na. Ni. And ni is cool because you do, like, you start like the I again, like E. Ni. And it looks kind of like a kneecap. Nu. Now, I always forget this one, so I actually have the book out specifically for this one. So I want to make sure I could remember it here. Nu. I don't know why I forget it. Well, probably because of the next one. But that's nu. And the next one is similar-ish, but because it's got that tail at the end. That's ne. And then no, which looks kind of like an E on its side, right? And a lot of times it's not quite as, like it's a little more curvy there, but it doesn't have to be. In fact, a lot of times I'll see it written more like that. But I kind of like it this way better. But that's probably better to just find somebody who's doing it properly. But again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I've read actually Japanese writers who write, and their writing is about as bad as mine, which is nice. Not all of them, of course. I mean, several people are very. Most of the people I've run into are really good. But you can write this way. What I'm getting at, though, is not to say that my writing's actually good or anything. It's just that people will recognize what you're writing if you do this. My writing's not too bad. It's just not great. Ha. But then I'm practicing. He. Hu. You notice this one's a little different here, so I'm going to actually show you. Ha. He. And you actually, I've heard people pronounce this one a little different. So instead of like ha, he, it's more like ha, he, like he, I'm doing it badly. But they're putting like, they're cupping their lips, they're making an O with their lips when they say he. So, and then you do the similar thing with who. With who, it's even usually written like that, who, instead of who. Because who, f, it almost sounds like a f, but it's not quite. It's like halfway between a f and a f and a h. So, he. Well, that's not too bad. He. And ho. Whoop. Ooh, that was kind of sloppy. I'll redo that one just to be safe. And you notice, as with many of the other ones, you start with a line on the side here, and it's got a little bit of a hook at the bottom, and then two lines over here, down and loop and go. Let's go. This one you're going to want to remember here, because we're going to do something similar with an entirely different character. And it'll be a little different. In fact, you know what? I'll do the next one right here, just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Ma. So you start with, you don't have that line. And instead, when you write the line, you're actually going to start this part right above. And that's ma. So you notice it looks a little bit like ho, but it's not at all the same. In mine's, I've exaggerated it slightly. It's a little longer than it should be, but that's still pretty accurate. Me. Oop. So I did a kind of a, you can see here, up and down, go around, and then a little line through there. Yeah, kind of cute. And yeah, that's me. Mu. So we're going to do this. We're going to line up here. We're going to start like we're making su, but we're going to go this way and then up. And then make a little dot sort of thing going there. And that's mu. And again, mine's a little weird shape, but it's actually pretty good. I actually, in my book, it actually looks different here. So come to think of it, I should probably learn how to write this one better. You're going to see me practice it properly. So mu. So you notice that little loop is actually closer to the bottom here. Okay. And then me. Me is going to remind you of something, right? That's me. And it looks a whole lot like nu, which is another reason why I have a problem with nu, I think. Oops. Go, ooh, and then around, and boom. And that's nu. And so they're the same. The only big difference is this has just the tail ends here. This one has the loop-de-loop thing. So something to keep in mind. It will probably trip you up at some point. It trips me up. And then last but not least, we're going to go with mo. So you notice I did like a loop thing, almost like she, but a little different. And then I did 2 lines through it. That's mo. So we have ha, hi, hu, he, ho. And then we have ma, mi, mu, me, mo. Oof. Okay. Okay, next up on the docket, we're getting pretty close to the end here. Now we're going to do ya, you, and yo. So it's just the 3. There is no yi or ye. They used to exist in Japanese. They got dropped after a while. And that's kind of, that's ya. And then again, we skip yi. There's no yi. So we'll go to yu, which goes down like this. And then up and around. You want to make it long enough so that when you do this, you're going to start at the top and make a little curve. That's you. Yeah, you. Again, we're going to skip the ye, and we're going to go straight to yo. So we go yo, line across, down and over. That's yo. So ya, you, and yo. Yeah. Okay, this will be our last complete row. This is the ra, ri, ru, re, ro. I'm probably mispronouncing that. But ra is a dot there, and down, and around, kind of like chi. Mine's a little sloppy, but you know, I think it's supposed to look more like and down, up, over, round. Kind of a little better. I don't think either of them really looks very good. But everybody understands when I write that, so I'm okay with that. For now. I want to make it better in the future. Ri, I, ru. Now this one's interesting because you're going to have like a, it looks basically like a number 3 almost, but with a little tail at the end here. Ru, re. Now re is interesting because it's going to actually remind you of another character that we did. And over, down at an angle, across, and oh my gosh, that's way too big. I'm going to redo this. And we're going to actually, so you see we curved around and we made a little off to the right. We kind of went off to the right there with that. Re. And you notice it looks a lot like ne. And it's also going to look like another one too. Ne looks like so, but instead of going off to the right, ne loops back around, or back in. So ra, ri, ru, re, and ro. Across, down, there. Looks familiar, huh? It's basically ru. Except for usually they look more similar. And the other thing too is that they actually look a little different. Like in the book, for example, ru, looks more like that, and that's like that. That's probably closer to what you actually want to do. I do these, and again, people know what I'm doing. But this is actually probably close to what you actually want to do. So, ru and ro. Uh, yeah, I should be. To be honest, I probably should be showing you exactly how they appear in the book. Um, it's just, and I should be practicing more like that. But I failed. Well, whatever. I've showed you the correct way to do it too. So, and now we've done that's the last complete row. We have two more rows. We have wa, which is going to look pretty familiar. Oops. Wa, doot, 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 boom. Which looks like ne, and also looks a little bit like re. But you'll notice instead of re goes over this way, and ne kind of curls around, wa kind of does something in between, and it ends up being its own thing. Wa is used a lot. Or no, the sound wa is used a lot. Wa itself is not actually. It's used for a few things, for a fair bit. But well, there's more you'll learn later. But that's wa. Oh, whoops. I want to leave wa up. And wo, which actually isn't pronounced wo. It's pronounced o. But it's in the same. So I've actually seen where like you'll see a chart and it'll say o or wo, or it'll say wo, o, or something like that. The thing is, it's never actually pronounced this way. It's always just pronounced o. And it's a particle used in certain scenarios. And we'll end up coming across that. And last but not least, we have which actually looks kind of like an N, right? It's a little sloppy. It should be probably more like that. Actually, that one's not too bad. I actually like the way that looks. That's pretty good. This is actually worse. Usually I get really sloppy and start doing something like that. That's not right. That looks like an H. This is actually pretty good. Yeah, so good. I'm happy with that. So that's hiragana. That's actually pretty much it for now. I do want to try to do one quick sentence with you, because I figure now that we've done hiragana, it's good to know how to do a sentence. So let's do one. Let's just say, I am name, right? So we'll start with wa, ta, she, and then we're going to have the particle wa. Now here's the thing. The character itself is usually ha, but the way it's pronounced is wa. This is because it is being used as what's called a particle. In this case, it's marking the watashi as the topic. So we don't pronounce it like ha. This is a historical thing. So I'm just going to say I, and this is topic. Just marks what we're talking about. Watashi wa kurisuto wa. Let me say ku. And then this is you don't have to know this right now. Kuri su to fa and des. Watashi wa Christopher des. Oops, and you can't see des. Oops. Oh no, you can't see des. Let me move this over a bit. Here we go. And my desk is really sloppy. There we go. Better. Watashi wa Christopher. And this here is actually in really really sloppy here writing this out, but this is katakana, kuri, su, to, fa. These combined make the fa sound, and then the a is extended by this. And then des is just a verb that kind of says something is or to be or kind of. It's actually not quite like to be. There's a little bit of a difference here, but we'll say it is for now. So watashi wa Christopher desu, and I am, so am Christopher, right? And that's actually, how to say somebody's, for you, the Elizabeth. So you can, there's different ways of doing it. Ri, za, gosh, I think it's, is that right? I'm going to double check because I want to make sure I do your name right. Oh, nope, I did it a little wrong. I always mix up se and sa. Across down. So, za, be. Again, I want to double check, make sure I'm doing this right. You can tell my katakana is not as good. I want to. Yeah, right? It's the same as. Yep, it is the same. Be, to. Ri, za, be, to. And there's different ways. Again, there's different ways of doing this. You could say watashi wa Elisabeto desu. So, yeah, that's how to do it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully that helps. I do recommend, just practicing hiragana on your own. Find a good chart and just kind of follow it. Keep in mind that the charts are usually a little different from, and that's just the base stuff. There's a little more complicated stuff, like you notice for, I put za for the katakana, za. Like that. Without these 10-10 here, these little dots, that would be called 10. This would be sa, and it works the same way actually with hiragana. So this is sa. It's a really weird sa. Try it again. A little better. Sa. That becomes za. And as you can tell, it basically just adds voicing to it. So instead of you get z. And the same thing works for h's. So ha, he, hu, he, ho, becomes ba, bi, bu, be, bo. And there's actually one other change, and specifically for these here. Instead of 10-10, you can have a little circle. Really kind of a sloppy circle, I'm trying to. And it becomes pa, pa. Oops. Pi, pu, pe, po. And there's actually a couple of other examples for that. Let me actually go through them real quick, because I figure if we're doing these, we may as well have them all. So, ka, ki, ku, ke, ko becomes ga, gi, gu, ge, go. We already did za, but we'll do it again. Za, z, z. So it doesn't. Oh, sorry. Za, ji. Sorry. Za, ji, z, ze, zo, And then the only one left that we haven't done, because we did ga, za, da, sorry, ga, za, ba, pa, and we still need to do the da, which is ta, da, and then we're going to go chi. This also actually becomes G. So this is she, this becomes G. G and G. And they're used in different scenarios. So, yay, learning. So, ta, G, tu, oh, su, sorry. Z, te, sorry. It's just weird for me because I don't usually think of them this way. I just didn't usually know them. Te, de, to becomes do. So, da, ji, z, de, do. So instead of becoming do, it becomes z. And instead of becoming d, it becomes g. And that's pretty much it. You've seen them all. There's a little bit more that goes to it, but this is actually a good foundation for the first stuff. Yeah, so I hope that's been kind of informative. I know it went on for a little while. I imagine you'll probably watch this in the background or something, because that's what I would do. But I do recommend practicing your hiragana. It's going to be very, very, very useful, because it's basically kind of the glue that holds Japanese words and stuff together. Kanji is used a lot, but hiragana is used for all the particles, all the normal sentence structures. And katakana is actually not used that much, which is part of why I'm not very good at katakana actually, because it's only used for like foreign loan words and it's like sound effects and stuff like that. And there's like a handful of scenarios where it's used.